all four have put a lot of heart and soul into this team for the amount of years they've been here each. And tonight we're just going to take the time. I mean, athletics is taking the time to recognize. We talked about them a lot on WFSC, these four players. And as they get into the ceremony here, they're giving some statistics for each of these players. We're going to start with Michelle Yan, who's coming out with her whole family, who you can see at any game here at Edinboro or any game away. Her family travels all over to come see Michelle play as she gives a hug to Callie Wheeler, head coach. She ranks as one of the top three-point threats all time at Edinboro and is climbing on the career scoring charts. She's currently 13th in scoring with 1,345 points and second in career three-pointers made with 246 attempted and 246 made and 699 attempted. She's so far appeared in 115 games. Michelle Yan personally speaking, not affiliated with this station, but she's a great girl. I've talked to her several times. She's so nice. As we go into our second senior of the night here that we're going to recognize, it looks like Jonte Walton's getting lined up here. Jonte Walton played 2014-15 season at UMass before joining Edinboro in January of 16. She was the third leading scorer with averaging 10.6 points per game in 2016. She played in 29 games and led the team in steals with 62, and that was fifth in the PSAC. She earned first team all PSAC honors in 2017-18. Also a part of the PSAC championship winning team last year. Again, another threat here out on the court for Edinboro, Jonte Walton. She comes in now. She is a grad student, so she is back again, and this will be her final senior year. The next one out on the court is Sierra Roston, who's got a bouquet of balloons following her, along with her escort here. Roston, again, another player coming from Buffalo. So she played one season at UMass as well in 14-16. She transferred to Edinboro in 2016-17. She finished as the second leading scorer with 11.9 points per game and top rebounder, 6.4 rebounds per game in that season. She also paced the Scots in blocks with 51. In 2017-18, she was named to 3 All-American teams. Again, personally speaking, an outstanding player. All 4 of these players out on the court. I've had the time over 3 years to get to know these girls. They are wonderful people on and off the court. On and off the court. Roston, again, one of those players as of last year who helped the team make it through PSAC championships and into the tournament further on. Our fourth recognized senior of the night, Allison Thompson, an Erie native. She played at Villa Maria, came to Edinboro in 15 and 16. She saw action in 16 contests that year, scoring 16 points and pulling down 22 rebounds. Again, another threat on the Edinboro court. All 4 of these seniors, along with a lot of the players out on the court for Edinboro, it's wild how much you can see them do. You can stop them in the paint, but they'll go behind the arc. You can stop them behind the arc, but they'll find a way in the arc. It's really kind of impressive. It's really impressive, and it's kind of crazy to watch. You'll find them grabbing down rebounds. You'll find them taking steals, making assists. All 4 of them have had fantastic careers here at Edinboro, in my opinion, and I'm going to be personally very, very sad to see all 4 of these women go.
Yep.
As they line up for a picture here, we will get into some starting lineups soon. Again, this is not the last time you'll see the Fighting Scots in action, as they have a game at Mercyhurst on Saturday at 1 o'clock. And then again, as they have secured their spot in playoffs, their game is to be announced as of when, or as of where at this time and what time, but they have secured a playoff spot at this point in time. as well as IUP, who we are here facing tonight. IUP sitting number 1 in the West, 17-2 overall in the PSAC West. Cal right behind them, 16-3. Edinboro right behind them, 14-5. It's going to be a close match here in the PSAC West with these last couple games going on. All three have secured spots in the playoffs, as well as Seton Hill and Pitt Johnstown from the West. And then on the East, Bloomsburg, Kutztown, and Westchester have all secured spots in the playoffs. So as we get into starting lineups here on IUP side, you've got number 4, Brittany Robinson, number 5, Carolyn Appleby, number 24, Lauren Walazik, number 40, Lexi Griggs, number 42, Natalie Myers. And then for your Fighting Scots, they have not gotten into it yet, but you've got Bridget Schaefer, number 1, number 2, Michaela Barnes, number 5, Jonte Bolton, number 15, Sierra Ross, and number 20, Michelle Yan. Edinboro starting all 4 of their 1,000-point career scorers of this season. Michaela Barnes, Jonte Walton, and Sierra Rawson all getting their 1,000th point within this season. And that's another thing is Michelle Yan, Jonte Walton, Sierra Rawson, all seniors. This is going to be...
This is going to be an interesting game.
It is. It's going to be a very interesting game. IUP coming into this game, like I said, 22-2 overall. When we saw these teams, I can pull it up for y'all right now, but I was calling the game at IUP that got postponed because of weather before in the season. It was quite the matchup as the final score ended up 97-73. IUP came out victorious with that one. That happened back in January. But, Tommy, I don't know how well you follow basketball. I know this is your first women's basketball broadcast, if I'm not mistaken. Basketball is one of those sports where you can play a team in December and lose, and then you've got growth. You've got time to grow before that February period where you really need to be hunkering down. And we have, from the Edinboro side, we have seen nothing but growth from this team and the men's team.
Indeed.
Since back in January. So it's going to be a good matchup tonight. Tommy, I'm glad this is your first women's basketball broadcast because you're gonna see the excitement. I'm gonna get too excited. Both teams making their way out onto the court. Up for tip-off. Looks like Myers is making her way to the middle of the court here for IUP, but they're all kind of standing in a conglomerate still. 10 minutes on the clock, getting ready here at Macomb Fieldhouse if you're just tuning in for this women's basketball matchup against IUP. Sierra Roston at the tip-off for Edinboro and Brittany Robinson for IUP. And with that, the ball's going to be up in the air. It looked like Sierra Roston got the ball off of her hand, but it's going to land in IUP's hands. Appleby will take the ball, hand it into Robinson inside the arc. Back to Appleby on the right. She'll take a three. It's going to be no good. Michaela Barnes grabbing the rebound, takes it across half court for the Fighting Scots. Hands it off to Jonte Walton as she does. Michelle Yan with a fake out on the left. Hands it inside to Roston. Roston turns around, goes up for a shot. It's going to be no good. She attempts to grab her own rebound, but IUP will grab it. Appleby takes it across half court for IUP. At the top of the arc, she drives into the arc, hands it out to Walazik. She drives into the paint, hands it back out to Griggs. Griggs to Appleby on the left. Back over to Walazik. She drives into the paint, takes a shot. It is no good. Score remains at 0-0 here with 9:10 left on the clock. And as Walazik goes up for a shot, it's going to be no good. But there is a whistle. It's going to be Edinboro's ball underneath their own net and some substitution early on in this game. Sierra Roston's going to go sit on the bench. Abby and Tolk's going to come into this game for Edinboro. Jonte Walton across half court with the ball. Hands off to Michaela Barnes on the left here. Over to Abby and Tolik at the top of the arc. Over to Jonte Walton on the right. Back to Barnes on the left. She drives a little bit into the arc. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. She hands it over to Abby and Tolik on the left. And Tolik to Schaefer on the right. Schaefer to Barnes on the right. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Michelle Yan with the ball at the top of the arc. Takes a three, but it will repel off of Griggs' hands Appleby will take it all the way down to Edinboro's side of the court and put up the first 2 points on the board for this game. 2-0 the score sits. 8:30 left on the clock for the first. Jonte Walton with the ball now on IUP side of the court in the arc, hands it out to Barnes at the top of the arc. Barnes drives into the paint, goes up for the shot. It is no good. IUP will grab the rebound. Robinson gets it to Appleby. Appleby takes it across half court for IUP. She'll hand it off to Walazik. She'll take a 3, and it is good. IUP now up 5-0, I should say, with 8:06 left on the clock for the first. Jonte Walton with the ball for Edinboro, driving into the arc, into the paint further, and they're going to call, I believe it was a travel on Jonte Walton. So it will be IUP's ball underneath their own net there. Appleby with the throw into Walazik. Appleby takes it across half court for the Crimson Hawks. Griggs with the ball now at the top of the arc on the left. She hands it inside to Robinson. Robinson turns around, takes a shot, and it is good. IUP now leading 7-0 with 7:40 left on the clock for the first quarter of this game. Barnes quickly drives into the arc, into the paint. Taking large pivots, finds Michelle Yan, who's unguarded. Yan quickly being guarded, drives into the paint, goes up for the shot. It's going to rebound off the bottom of the net. There is going to be a foul called down on IUP's side of the court. It's going to be a foul on Abby and Tolik. So it will be IUP's ball underneath their own net here. Carolyn Appleby with the ball here. She's going to take it across half court. She drives all the way to the right side of Edinboro's side of the court, hands it off to Robinson, over to Griggs. Griggs to Walazik, inside to Robinson. She'll take a shot from in the paint, and it is good. 9-0, your score sits. 7:10 left on the clock in the first. Still a lot of time and a lot of basketball to be played as we go ahead and take a 30-second timeout right here on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio. Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in here on 88.9. My name is Maddie G. I am your play-by-play commentator for this women's basketball matchup, joined by Tommy, who has not gotten a lot to say in, as this has been a very quick-paced game so far. Edinboro down by 9 as IUP is 9-0 here, with 7:10 left on the first. Right before the timeout there was a substitution on Edinboro's side. Allison Thompson now in the game here for Edinboro. Abby and Tolik took a seat on the bench to start off this game coming back from timeout. It's going to be Edinboro's ball underneath their own net. Jonte Walton will take the ball across half court. IUP setting up their defense. Bridget Schaefer on the right now with the ball. Hands off to Michelle Yan on the left. Yan to Walton on the left. She'll drive into the arc. Kick it out to Schaefer on the left. Back to Walton. Walton. Back to Schaefer, all on the left. Back to Barnes at the top of the arc. Barnes with the ball. Drives into the paint. It's going to get stolen by Myers there. Appleby will take it all the way up to Edinboro's side of the court. Take a shot, and it will be no good. Bridget Schaefer and Michelle Yan up there to grab the rebound there. Yan takes it down to IUP side of the court. Over to Barnes, over to Walton on the left. Walton will take a 3. It's going to be no good. Yan will grab the rebound, though, get it back to Walton. Walton over to Schaefer. Schaefer to Barnes at the top of the arc. Back over to Walton on the left. At the top of the arc to Thompson. Thompson over to Barnes on the right. To Yan on the left. 19 seconds left on the shot clock for Edinboro. Yan will drive all the way in. Take a shot. It is no good. It's going to bounce off the bottom of the basket there. Appleby will take the ball across half court for IUP. Gets it to Robinson. Robinson hands it immediately back to Appleby. Appleby takes I had to pause there for a second, as Appleby took a kind of what looked like she was making a 3, but it was kind of a pass to Griggs, who was under the basket. Griggs went up and put the shot up there, but the ball rolled very, very, very slowly, almost like slow motion across the net there. She ended up getting her own rebound and putting in 2 points for IUP. 11-0 the score now sets Edinboro with the ball down on IUP's side of the court. Barnes with a jumper, and it is good, putting Edinboro's first points on the board here with 5:30 left in the first. 11-2 the score sits. Appleby with the ball takes it across half court for the Crimson Hawks. She makes her way up the left side, then drives into the arc, kicks it out to unguarded Walazik. She'll take a 3. It is no good. The ball's going to bounce off of Allison Thompson before it goes out of bounds, so it will remain IUP's ball underneath Edinboro's net. 11-2 here at McComb Fieldhouse. 5:15 left on the clock for the first. Michelle Yon using her long limbs to kind of keep the ball out of range here, but IUP will take a shot. It's going to be no good. Monica Brown with the ball now. She is now in the game for Edinboro. She gets it to Barnes. Barnes inside the paint here, takes a shot. It is good, and there was a whistle. That brings our score 11-4 with 5:02 left on the clock for the first. And Barnes is going to be at the line here. IUP not liking this call as it was on Walazik. And Barnes will not be at the line. Instead, Jonte Walton with the throw-in. They're going to call a whistle immediately. As there's going to be an immediate foul called on Robinson. It's going to be IUP's second in the last 20 seconds here. Walton with the throw into Yon. Yon on the right. She hands it to Walton as she runs behind her over to Roston at the top of the arc. Roston slowly moving into the arc, hands it to Barnes as she runs past her at the top of the arc now. Barnes with the ball. She hands it off to Walton on the left. Walton to Monica Brown. Brown to Barnes at the top of the arc. Barnes will drive all the way into the paint with 7 seconds left on the shot clock. The ball's going to go out of bounds as she goes up for the shot. It is going to remain Edinboro's possession, 11-2, 4:38 left on the clock for the first. Walton with the throw-in. IUP will grab the ball, though. Appleby will take it across half court for the Crimson Hawks. Holding the ball, she hands it off to Robinson. Robinson inside to Myers. Myers with a shot, and it is good. 13-2, the score sits. 4:15 left on the clock for the first quarter of this game. Walton with the ball. She'll take it across half court for the Fighting Scots. At the top of the arc, Walton keeps the ball. She hands it off to Barnes on the right. Back to Walton at the top. She'll drive into the arc. Go up for the shot. It is no good. IUP with the rebound. Appleby takes it across half court. Drives into the arc. Kicks it out to Walazik. Walazik back to Appleby on the left. Inside the arc now. She hands it off to Robinson, who almost flies in front of her and flies up for the net. It was all kind of one motion. She just caught the ball and put it in. 15-2, the score sits. 3:33 left on the clock for the first. Sierra Roston with the ball at the top of the arc. Drives into the paint. She's going to lose the ball a little bit in between her legs, but she picks it back up, gets it to Barnes. Barnes at the top of the arc, going to take a three, and it is good. 15-5 with 3:16 left on the clock for the first. Appleby with the ball. She'll take it across half court. IUP with the ball here still. Robinson to Griggs. She'll take a shot, and it is good. 17-5, the score now sits. IUP in the lead. 2:57 left on the clock for the first. Walton with the ball. She'll take it across half court. Hand it off to Roston on the right. Roston to Yon at the top of the arc. Over to Walton on the left. Walton will drive all the way in, go up for the shot. It's going to be no good, but there was a whistle. It's going to be a foul on Appleby. It's going to be her first. It's going to be the team's third here in the first quarter. 2:45 left on the clock for the first. Walton at the line here. She'll be shooting two. Walton's first shot is through the net, bringing Edinboro up by one. 17-6, the score now sits. 2:45 left on the clock. Walton again at the line. Walton's second shot up in the air. It's going to bounce off the back of the basket there. IUP will collect the rebound. 17-6, the score remains. 2:40 left on the first. Appleby with the ball. She'll hand it off to Walazik. Walazik to number 22, Hunter, who's now in the game. Off to Griggs, off to Robinson. Robinson inside the paint here. 14 seconds left on the shot clock. Appleby on the right, holding the ball. She'll drive all the way in. Attempt to make a backwards layup. It's going to land right back into Sierra Roston's hands. Roston to Barnes as she crosses half court. Barnes turning the ball around, giving IUP the chance to kind of set up on defense. Hands it off to Walton. Walton with a three-point shot. It is no good. But as the rebound was coming down, there's going to be a whistle. It's going to be a foul on Michelle Yon. Going to be Edinboro's second foul of the night here. 17-6 the score now sits. 2:09 left on the clock. IUP with possession of the ball. Appleby takes it across half court. She's holding it and moving very slowly. Monica Brown staying on her as she passes the ball off to Griggs. Griggs to Walazik. Walazik backwards to Hunter. Hunter will drive into the paint. Hand it off to Walazik, and she's going to knock down Michaela Barnes in the meanwhile. So she's going to get called with the charge here. IUP's fourth foul right now. Michaela Barnes with the ball. She'll take it. Hand it off to Monica Brown as she crosses half court. Brown with the ball. She'll take it at the top of the arc. Over to Barnes on the left. Inside to Roston. Robinson will get a hand on it before it reaches Roston's hands. Appleby gets the ball. It's going to roll on the ground a little bit before she collects it once again. Robinson to Griggs. Griggs just missing the catch. Bridget Schaefer will snag it. Get it to Barnes. Barnes takes the ball all the way to the top of the arc. Griggs will get a hand on it. Knock it out of her hand from behind. Drive all the way down to Edinboro side of the court. Walazik will put up 2 points for the Crimson Hawks. 19-6 the score now sits. 1:03 left on the clock for the first. Monica Brown with the ball. Hands it to Sierra Roston at the top of the arc. Roston fakes it. Almost doesn't hand it to Barnes. Barnes will dribble. Excuse me, that was a fantastic play. Sierra Roston holding the ball like she's going to pass it off to Michaela Barnes. Barnes fakes like she went up and picked it up. Ran all the way around all of the defenders who were not paying attention to her. Roston grabbed the ball, got it to Barnes, and Barnes put up 2 points. 19-8 the score now sits. A lot of action here as Monica Brown and Carolyn Appleby rolling on the ground for the ball. Brown will grab the ball. Edinboro will have possession of it down on IUP side of the court. As there was an attempted shot from Barnes made, it's going to be no good, but there was a whistle and a foul on Lexi Griggs of IUP. Barnes is going to be at the line here shooting 2. Score sitting 19-8. 29.3 seconds left on the clock for the first. Barnes' first shot is good. 19-9 the score now sits. 29.3 seconds left on the clock for the first. Barnes again at the line here. Second one is good. Edinboro closing the gap here. 19-10. 27 seconds left on the clock. No shot clock at this point in the first quarter. Carolyn Appleby will take the ball across half court for IUP, being heavily guarded by Monica Brown here, who is a threat on defense for Edinboro and has proven that here in her freshman year. Appleby keeping the ball down low. 10 seconds left on the clock. She's going to drive all the way in to the right. Hand it off to teammates. It's going to hit almost every player's hands for IUP before it reaches Brittany Robinson's in the paint. She'll take a shot, and it is good. 21-10, the score now sits. Going into the second here, we're going to take a 1-minute timeout right here on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio. Hello and welcome back. Coming back to this matchup for the second quarter, IUP leading 21-10 over the Fighting Scots women's basketball team. Edinboro to start off with the ball here. Barnes will take it across half court and to the top of the arc as they're resetting the scoreboard here. A little bit of technical difficulties. Roston at the top of the arc, inside to Brown, who is set perfectly underneath the basket, unguarded. She'll grab the ball, put up 2 points for the Fighting Scots, 21-12. The score sits. 9:37 left on the clock. Walazik with the ball here. She drives all the way in. It's going to go out of bounds behind the net. It will be Edinboro's possession underneath their own net. Schaefer to Barnes to Walton. All three hanging behind half court here. Schaefer's going to run all the way up. Barnes like so. Roston with the ball at the top of the arc. She hands off to Walton on the left. Walton inside to Roston. Roston goes up for the shot, and it is good. 21-14. The score now sits. 9:10 left on the clock for the second. Walazik will take the ball across half court. Hands it off to I'm losing my train of 14, Holland. Holland to Walazik inside the paint. She'll take a jumper. It is no good. Monica Brown on the ground fighting for the ball. Gets the ball. Pushes it out of the huddle there to Michaela Barnes. Barnes will take it all the way to IUP side. Hand it off to Walton. Hand it off to Rawson. At the top of the arc, she takes a three. It's going to be no good. Wolozik with the ball here. Crossing half court. Inside the arc, she hands it off to Griggs. Griggs inside to Robinson. Robinson will take the 2-point shot, and it is good. 23-14 score now. So it's 8:25 left on the clock for the first half of this game. Jonte Walton with the ball. Over to Roston at the top of the arc. Roston over to Barnes on the left. Barnes at the top of the arc now hands it off to Brown on the left side. Roston will go up for the shot. Myers, contending her shot, just pushing the ball out of Sierra Roston's hands as she's going up for the shot. Griggs with the ball here. She hands it off to Robinson. Robinson to Holland. Holland to Myers. Myers over to Robinson on the left. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Robinson drives all the way in, takes a shot, and it's going to roll in. 25-14 the score now sits. 7:38 left on the clock for this first half. Jonte Walton across half court drives to the arc, hands it off to Roston on the left, over to Brown farther on the left. Brown to Barnes. Barnes to Walton. Walton hands it, just kind of tosses it to Roston at the top of the arc. Roston over to Walton. Walton on the right. Drives into the arc. Kicks it out to Bridget Schaefer, who is unguarded. Schaefer taking a three, and it is good. Bridget Schaefer, very dangerous at that three-point arc, as proven just with that shot. 25-17 the score now sits. 7:09 left on the clock. They're going to go ahead and take a timeout. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout with them. It's going to be a 30-second timeout right here on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio. Hello and welcome back. 7:09 left on the clock for the first half of this women's basketball matchup. Tommy is here. Tommy, yes. What's the score sitting at right now?
The score is Edinboro 17, IUP 25.
Absolutely. Tommy has not gotten a lot of wordage here on WFSC tonight, as this has been a wild game so far. Back and forth, 25-17, as Tommy just said. IUP currently with 4 players out on the court, all having 1 foul each. Edinboro with 1 player out on the court with 1 foul right now. Both teams are returning to the court here. It's going to be IUP's ball to start coming back from this timeout. Appleby, who's now back in the game for IUP, hands it off to Griggs. Griggs on the left. She'll hand it back to Appleby on the right. Appleby inside to Robinson from in the paint, taking a shot. It's going to be no good. Bridget Schaefer will grab the rebound. She attempts to keep it away from Myers as she hangs back behind the half-court line here. Jonte Walton with the ball at the top of the arc on IUP side of the court. Hands it off to Barnes. Barnes on the left. Drives into the arc a little bit. Hands it over to Walton. Walton unguarded is going to take a three. It's going to bounce off the back of the board. Sierra Roston contending for the rebound there, but IUP will come out with it. Appleby takes it all the way down to Edinboro's side. Hands it inside to Robinson. Robinson from in the paint takes a shot. It is no good. Schaefer will grab the rebound, hand it off to Walton. Walton will take it across half court. Hands it off to Barnes on the left. Barnes back to Walton. Walton at the top of the arc. To Roston on the left side. Roston makes her way into the arc, takes a shot from in the paint. It's going to be no good. Myers will grab the rebound, gets it off to Appleby. Appleby takes it all the way down to Edinboro's side of the court. Takes a shot from in the paint. It was kind of like she was throwing it up with one arm and she kept running. Walton with the ball here. 27-17 the score now sits. 5:52 left on the clock for the first half of this game. Walton with the ball on IUP side of the court. She hands it off to Roston on the right. Roston inside to Barnes. Barnes in the paint. Going to take a shot. It's going to be no good, but there is a whistle. They're going to call a foul here, it looks like. It's going to be a foul on Griggs. It's going to be her second. Team's first. Barnes is going to be at the line here. Shooting 2. The first one is good. 27-18 the score now. So it's 5:41 left on the clock. Michaela Barnes is not somebody you want at the line. Even with a little bit of a lead, she's not somebody you want at the line because Barnes can make these free throw shots. She has proven this. Second one is good. 27-19, the score now sits IUP in the lead, 5:38 left on the clock for the first half of this game. Appleby takes the ball across half court. She'll hand it off to Myers. Myers inside to Robinson. Robinson catches it, attempts to take a shot. It's going to be no good. Abby and Tolik, who's now back in the game for Edinboro, grabs the rebound, gets it to Walton. Walton will take it across half court, hands it off to Barnes at the top of the arc. Barnes with the ball, and they're going to call a whistle. Some substitution over on IUP's side of the court. Appleby with the throw-in to Alexander. Courtney Alexander, number 10, who's now in the game for IUP. Appleby takes the ball across half court. Drives into the arc, hands it off to Alexander. She'll take a three. It is no good. Appleby with the ball here. Hands it off to Myers. Myers with the three, and it is good from the left side. 30-19 the score now. So it's 4:54 left on the clock here. Jonte Walton with the ball, drives into the arc, into the paint. And the ball's going to go out of bounds here. Excuse me again. It's going to be Edinboro's ball underneath IUP's net here. Abby and Tolik to Jonte Walton. Walton underneath the basket on IUP side. Gets it to Barnes. Barnes to Schaefer. Schaefer takes the three. It's going to be no good. Myers will grab the rebound, gets it to Appleby. Appleby with a long and an incredibly long pass to Preston, who is now in the game for IUP. She attempted to put up a shot. It was no good, but Griggs came back, grabbed the rebound, and put up 2 points for IUP. 32-19, 4:15 left on the clock for the first half of this game. Jan with the ball now on IUP side of the court, inside the arc. Attempts to pass it back to Barnes, but Lexi Griggs of IUP just happens to be there. She'll grab the ball, take it over to Edinboro's side of the court, and down on Edinboro's side, there's going to be a foul. (32-19) the score now sits IUP in the lead. 4:05 left on the clock. Some substitutions getting ready to come in here. Appleby's going to be at the line shooting two here, as I believe the foul was called on Abby and Tolik. First shot is good. 4:05 left on the clock for the first half of this game. 33-19 the score sits. Appleby again at the line here. Second one is good. Jonte Walton will take the ball across half court. Hands it into Roston at the top of the arc. Roston inside to Walton. Walton unguarded, takes a shot, but it's going to roll out of the rim. It's going to go out of bounds on IUP, so it will remain Edinboro's ball here. 3:48 left on the clock for the first half of this game. Jonte Walton with the ball underneath the net on IUP side. She hands over to Roston on the right. Roston inside the arc here. Turning, making large pivots, finds Bridget Schaefer, who's right behind her almost. Schaefer taking a shot. It's going to be no good. She attempts to get her own rebound, but instead is going to be called with a foul. It's going to be Edinboro's second right now, 34-19, 3:39 left on the clock. As intense as the game this has been, the fouls have not been too rough here.
They haven't.
Both teams staying out of foul trouble here, which is really big for a game like this. 34-19, Appleby attempts to take the ball over to the basket on Edinboro side. It's going to go out of bounds, though. 3:24 left on the clock. Edinboro's possession of the ball here. Walton across half court with the ball. At the top of the arc, she hands it to Sarah Roston on the right. Roston and Walton on the left. Walton to take a three, and it is no good. But Lillian Young, who's now in the game for Edinboro, will grab the rebound, gets it to Roston. Roston's going to get called with a travel, running into the arc. Going to be IUP's ball underneath their own net. Excuse me, it's going to be over here by the home side of the court here. Appleby with the throw in to Hunter. Or excuse me, Alexander. Back to Appleby. She'll take it across half court. Walazik to Alexander, over to Appleby on the right. Appleby will take the jumper from inside the arc, and it is good. 36-19, 2:49 left on the clock for the first half of this game. Jonte Walton with the ball at the top of the arc here. Moves to the right. Back to the top of the arc. Inside to Roston in the paint. Roston taking large pivots, trying to get past defenders here. Finds her way in the paint, takes a shot. It's going to rebound off the backboard. IUP will grab the ball. 36-19, 2:27 left on the clock for the first half. And as they're down on Edinboro's side of the court, there's going to be a foul called on Monica Brown. (36-19) again on the scoreboard. IUP in the lead. 2:26 left on the clock. IUP with the ball here down on Edinboro's side of the court. Myers on the left to Walazik on the top at the top of the arc. She'll drive into the arc. Kick it out to Appleby on the right. Appleby to Robinson in the arc. Back over to Walazik on the right. To Myers at the top of the arc. Myers to Walazik. 6 seconds left on the shot clock here for IUP. Walazik with the ball. She'll hand it off to Alexander. Alexander takes a three, and it is good. 39-19, the score sits. 1:51 left on the clock for the first half of this game. Jonte Walton with the ball. She'll take it across half court for the Fighting Scats. She hands it off to Michaela Barnes. Barnes at the top of the arc here. Drives into the paint. Takes a shot. It's going to be no good as the ball's going to get hit out of her hand. Edinboro just not having great luck here in the paint as IUP is heavily defending everything they're doing. 39-19, the score sits. 1:36 left on the clock for the first half of this game. Walton with the throw into Roston from underneath IUP's net. Roston takes a jumper. It's going to be no good. Appleby with the ball. She'll take it across half court. Holding the ball here, 120 left on the clock for the first half. Hands it off to Robinson. Robinson to Myers. Myers will take a three. It's going to bounce. It's going to ricochet off the backboard there. Jonte Walton will grab it. IUP here behind her, trying to... This has been something I've seen a little bit as Edinboro is running down to IUP side of the court. Several different players kind of trying to poke the ball from underneath and behind them. Brittany Robinson's going to get called with a foul here on IUP side of the court. It'll be Edinboro's ball by IUP's bench. Young with the throw into Walton. I tried to combine three different players' names there. Roston at the top of the arc. Over to Walton on the left. Walton drives in. And the ball's going to roll out of bounds here as it falls on the ground. 39-19, 50.2 seconds left on the clock for the first half of this game. Appleby with the ball. She'll take it across half court for the Crimson Hawks. Monica Brown with heavy defense here as the ball ricocheted off of Brown. Appleby had to chase it down a little bit. 15 seconds left on the shot clock for IUP. An attempted shot, no good. Lands right in Jonte Walton's hand. She'll take it across half court. 28 seconds left on the clock. Barnes drives into the paint, takes a shot. It is good. 39-21, the score now sits. 21 seconds left on the clock. IUP with the ball. Appleby will take it up across half court. Jonte Walton gets a hand on it, but Alexander will take a three-point shot from the left and push at IUP's lead up 42-21. 1 second left. Michaela Barnes with our last second three-pointer. It's going to be no good. So going into this half-time, 42-21, the score sits. IUP in the lead. My name is Maddie G. I'm on play-by-play. I'm joined by Tommy. We're going to give you a little bit of stat breakdown here when we come back from this halftime. So stay tuned as Chase is on the board. He's going to be playing all of your favorite WFSC music, all of his favorite WFSC music, and all of our requests from up here in the Crow's Nest right now. But stay tuned as we will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes for the remainder of this women's basketball matchup right here on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio. Welcome back. There's about 20 seconds left here at Macomb Fieldhouse before we head into the second half of this women's basketball matchup against IUP. A little bit of statistics here going into the second. Edinboro having a little bit of a difficulty here scoring as they're shooting. In the first, they shot 7 for 29 of their field goals, shooting at a 24.1 percentage here. 3-pointers, 2 for 10 of them with a 20%, and free throws at the line. They're 5 for 6, so they're shooting at an 83.3 at the line, so they're doing very well at the line so far. IUP coming into this game shooting 2 for 2 at the line, 4 and 8 of their 3-pointers, and 56.3% of their field goals here. Robinson leading IUP and scoring 12 points as of the half. Appleby and Griggs right behind her as Appleby just put up 2 more points for IUP to start off this second half. Edinboro on the Edinboro side, Michaela Barnes, the only player right now above 10 points. She's got a total of 13 right now. But still a lot of time to be played here at Macomb Fieldhouse as we are well into action into the second. 9:19 left on the clock for the third quarter. 45-21 the score sits. IUP with the ball. Myers with a 3-point shot, and it is good. 48-21 the score sits. 9:06 left on the clock for the third. Walton with the ball. Hands it over to Schaefer on the right. Schaefer to Jan to Walton. Walton going to get tripped up here a little bit, as both her and Appleby hit the deck. There's going to be a whistle, and it's going to be a foul on Appleby. It's going to be Appleby's second. Walton will be behind the arc, or behind the line here, behind the basket, with a throw in to Roston. Roston to Schaefer. Schaefer attempts to put up a shot. It's going to be short. IUP with the ball now on Edinboro side. Appleby driving through Edinboro players here between Michelle Yan and Sierra Roston. And they're going to call the foul. On Edinboro, so it will be, excuse me for the pause, I was trying to listen to what was happening down on the court. Lots of talking going on. It's going to be IUP's ball underneath Edinboro's net. Excuse me, as Walzik with the ball for a long time. She gets it to teammate Griggs. There's going to be 2 points to amount from that play. 48-21 the score sits. 8:34 left on the clock for the for the third quarter. Going to be Edinboro's ball underneath their own net here. Walton with the ball on IUP side. She hands over to Roston at the right. Roston Yan at the top to Walton on the left. Walton to Barnes. Barnes at the top. Drives into the arc, into the paint. Goes up for the shot. She's going to get tripped up a little bit as she's going up. Hit the deck. Carolyn Appleby will grab the ball, take it all the way down to Edinboro's side of the court. Walizik with the ball drives into the paint, takes the shot. It's going to roll all the way in and be good. 50-21 the score sits. 7:57 left on the clock for the third. Walton with the ball takes it across half court. At the top of the arc, she hands over to Roston on the right. Roston keeping the ball in play here. Finds Barnes in the paint. Barnes takes the shot. It is no good. She attempts to get her own rebound, but IUP is there. Walizik with the ball takes it across half court. On to Edinboro side, drives into the paint herself. Throws the ball around Sierra Roston's body. And what I mean by around is Roston was there parallel to, and she threw the ball all the way around Roston as she was running. And there's going to be a foul called here. So Robinson's going to be at the line shooting 2 for IUP. 51-21 as the first one goes in. 7:33 left on the clock here for the third. Robinson again at the line here for IUP. And it is good. IUP now still 100% on their free throws, or excuse me, their foul throws here. Walton to Roston. Roston at the top of the arc. Back to Walton. Walton will drive into the arc. She's going to get called with a foul there. It's going to be Walton's second. Edinboro's third here. 7:24 left on the clock for the third. Appleby with the ball. She'll take it across half court. Drive into the arc. Attempts to back pass it, but Monica Brown will be right there. Grabs the ball. Keeps it. Hands it off to Walton. Walton at the arc will take a shot, and it is good. 52-24 the score now. Sits 7 minutes left on the third. Jonte Walton finally sinking those three-point shots that she's been waiting for. Monica Brown with the steal takes it all the way down to Edinboro side of the court. She'll take a shot. It is no good. Michelle Yon standing right there, catches the ball, goes up, and puts it in for Edinboro. 52-26, 6:41 left on the clock. Walazik with the ball for IUP on the right, of Edinboro's arc. She's going to hand it off to Myers. Myers unguarded. She takes a three. It's going to bounce off the backboard. Barnes will almost collect it. Walazik will get the ball once again, take a three from the top of the arc, and it is good. Going to be Edinboro's ball underneath their own net here. 55-26, 6:16 left on the clock for the third. Barnes will take the ball across half court for the Fighting Scots. Drive into the arc, handed off to Walton. Walton over to Rosson on the right. She drives into the arc, into the paint. Goes up for the shot, and it is good. 55-28, the score now sits. 5:57 left on the clock for the third. IUP with the ball. Monica Brown heavily defending here. Every person with the ball, Monica Brown is on. IUP with the ball here. Number 10, Alexander. She keeps it in play, and there's going to be a foul on Jonte Walton. It's going to be her third with 5:46 left on the clock for the third. There's going to be a substitution here. Allison Thompson coming into the game for Walton. Alexander with the throw into Appleby. Appleby setting something up. 55-28, the score, sitting IUP in the lead. 5:40 left on the clock for the third. Over to Robinson on the right. To Myers. To Griggs. Inside to Robinson in the paint. Back out to Griggs on the left. Allison Thompson showing some heavy defense here. Griggs with the attempted shot, no good. Rosson will grab it. 55-28, the score remains. Rosson in the paint, takes a shot, and it is good. 55-30, the score now sits. 5:13 left on the clock for the third. Alexander to Appleby. She'll take it across half court. Monica Brown heavily defending. Appleby jumping from the corner of the paint here at the top of the key almost. And she'll take a shot, and it is good. 57-30, 4:53 left on the clock for the third. Barnes with the ball for Edinboro. She'll hand it to Rosson. Rosson at the top of the arc. Rosson's going to take a three. It's going to be no good. Robinson will grab the rebound. Appleby with the ball takes it across half court, gets it to Griggs. Griggs almost in the paint, hands it off to Appleby above the arc on the left. She'll attempt the three. It is no good. Monica Brown racing down the IUP side of the court. The ball's going to get snacked out of her hands. Lexi Griggs of IUP driving for the ball. Almost hits Edinboro's bench here. (57-30) the score sits. 4:28 left on the clock for the third. And they're going to go ahead and take a 30-second timeout. We're going to take a 30-second timeout with them right here on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio. .28 sits on the clock for the remainder of this third quarter here at Macomb Fieldhouse. 57-30 the score sits. My name is Maddie G. I'm your play-by-play. Tommy is here. I promise. Tommy is here. He's here. He's enjoying this game, I assume. I don't want to speak definitely. For you, but the senior night game here at Macomb Fieldhouse of this women's basketball matchup to immediately be followed by the men's basketball matchup, also recognizing seniors before the game here. Going back into it, it's going to be Edinboro's ball. Bridget Schaefer with the throw-in over by Edinboro's bench. She hands it off to Barnes. Barnes takes it to the top of the arc, hands it off to Jan on the left. Jan to Allison Thompson at the top of the arc, over to Barnes on the right. Barnes will drive into the arc, into the paint. Kick it out to Schaefer, who's unguarded. She'll take a three. It's going to bounce off the rim. IUP will grab the rebound. Edinboro continuing their defense here down on IUP side of the court. Walazik with the ball. Hands it off to Alexander. Alexander on the right side on Edinboro's side of the court now. Hands it back to Walazik. 18 seconds left on the shot clock for IUP now that they're down on Edinboro's side of the court. Myers with the ball unguarded on the right. Or excuse me, on the left. She'll drive into the paint, take a shot, and it is good. 59-30, the score now sits. 3:47 left on the clock for the third. Barnes with the ball doing the same, driving into the paint, taking the shot. It is no good, but there is a whistle. Whew, a lot of talking.
Yeah.
It's okay. Barnes at the line here after there's a foul on Griggs, and that's going to be Griggs' fourth foul here with 3:44 left in the third. Now, I was explaining to Tommy, as Michaela Barnes' first shot is good, I was explaining to Tommy before the game, we were going through some statistics and stuff, I was explaining to him that 5 fouls means you're done for the game. You foul out at 5. So Griggs sitting at 4 with still 3:44 left on the third is not a good spot for her to be sitting here. IUP with the ball, 59-32, 3:39 left on the clock. Walazik with the ball here for IUP. She'll hand it to Preston. Preston, who's now in the game for IUP. Back to Walazik. Over to Alexander. Alexander drives into the yard, kicks it out to Myers. Myers will take a 3. It is no good, as she had Monica Brown's hand in her face while she was taking it. They get it to Walazik on the almost at the top of the arc. She'll take a 3, and it is good. 62-32, 3:10 left on the clock for the third. Michaela Barnes slowing the ball down as they're setting something up. Barnes drives into the arc, kicks it out to Lillian Young on the right. Young attempting a 3. It is no good. The ball's going to almost go out of bounds. Michaela Barnes will whip it back into bounds right to Allison Thompson. Thompson will put up 2 points for the Fighting Scots. 62-34, 2:48 left on the clock for the third quarter. Appleby with the ball for IUP, drives into the arc, kicks it out to Alexander. Alexander will take a 3, and it is good. 65-34, the score now sits. 2:35 left on the clock for the third. Barnes on IUP side of the court here at the top of the arc. She keeps doing the tango, as I'm going to say, around the top of the arc, just turning around, keeping the ball, turning around. She gets it to Thompson at the top of the arc. Thompson to Jan. Jan attempts a 3. It is no good. Thompson will grab the rebound here, gets it back to Jan. Jan to Barnes on the left. She drives into the paint, up and takes the shot, and it is good. 65-36. The score now sits. 2:07 left on the clock for the third. Myers with the ball here. Takes it across half court. Drives into the paint, kicks it off to Preston. Preston almost attempting a shot, but she will turn around. Barnes with the ball now on IUP side of the court. Hands it off to Brown. Brown to Young. Young on the right. Up to Allison Thompson. Thompson to Barnes at the top of the arc. Barnes drives through IUP defenders, losing the ball in the midst. Walazik with the ball here. Hands it off to Alexander on the left. Alexander drives into the arc. Hands it back over to Walazik on the left. Myers with the shot from the three-point line, and it is good. 1:18 left on the clock for the third. Barnes with the ball. Takes it across half court. She's slowing the play down here. She hands it off to Lillian Young on the right. Young drives into the arc here. Takes a shot. It's going to be no good. She gets right back up, racing against Walazik here. She's going to get fouled, though. Going to be Young's first. Sending Walazik to the line here. As Edinboro has 5 fouls. IUP's now in the bonus. Walazik at the line here, shooting 2. 1:01 left on the clock for the third. First one is good. 69-36. The score now sits. 1:01 left on the clock. IUP currently, as I refresh my page here, still shooting 100% at the line with 5 for 5. And over 50 in both three-point shots and field goals. Walazik here again at the line here. Second one is good. IUP still shooting 100% here at the line. 6 for 6 now. Young with the throw into Walton. Walton takes it across half court. Brings it to the top of the arc. Edinboro players keeping IUP on their toes here. Appleby will rip the ball out of Walton's hand. Drives all the way up to the basket. It's going to be no good. 43 seconds left, stopped on the clock. 70-36, the score sits. IUP in the lead here. It's going to be IUP's ball underneath Edinboro's net here. Alexander to Hunter, who's now in the game for IUP, and attempted shot no good. 70-36. 33 seconds left on the clock. 23 seconds left on the shot clock. Rossin, who's now back in the game for Edinboro, in the paint, taking large pivots, trying to move around IUP defenders. IUP will grab the ball after a shot is no good from Rossin. 18 seconds left on the clock. No shot clock here for IUP. Appleby to Walzik. Walzik to Alexander. She'll take a three, and it is good. Alexander now has 12 points on the night here. 5 seconds left on the clock. Walton to Brown. Brown going to take a long three. It's going to be no good. 73-36 going to be your score at the end of the third here. We're going to go ahead and take a 1-minute timeout right here on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio. A fresh 10 minutes left on the clock. The last 10 minutes of this senior game night here at Macomb Fieldhouse for this women's basketball team. The Edinboro women's basketball team, I should bring up as to who we are here with. IUP here, we are hosting, or the Edinboro Fighting Scots are hosting. Back at the gameplay here, 9:54 left on the clock. Barnes with the ball in hands it off to Walton at the top of the arc. Walton inside to Rossin. It's going to ricochet off her hands. A little bit of a fight over the ball. Walton diving for it. There's going to be a travel called as both teams are both on the ground fighting for the ball here. It's going to be called on Edinboro, 73-36. 9:44 left on the clock. Tommy is here with me. He's on color. He has not gotten a lot of talking in tonight as this has been a very fast-paced game. IUP with a three-person play there from one to the other to the next in the basket, 75-36. 9:28 left on the clock. Walton with the ball. She takes it across half court. Hands off to Antolik, who's now in the game. Over to Rossin on the left, or excuse me, on the right. Rossin drives into the paint here, backwards. Goes up for the shot, and it is good, and there is a whistle. And Tommy can tell you as I'm up here, I'm using hand gestures to tell myself which side is left and right. It happens all the time. Usually there's nobody up here to laugh at me about it. Rossin at the line here, shooting two. As there was a foul on IUP here. 75-38, the score sits. First and only one good. 75-39, excuse me. First and only one not good. 1 second. IUP with the ball. I'll update you in just a second. IUP with the ball here on Edinboro's side of the court. Appleby with the ball in hands. Hands it off to Hunter. She'll put in 2 points for the Crimson Hawks. The shot was good. 77-39. I was looking at the scoreboard and not at Rossin taking her shot. Rossin on the right with the ball now to Barnes at the top of the arc. Back to Rossin at the top of the arc. Over to Jan on the left. Jan will take the ball back up from the arc. Take it back in. Back up again. Hand it off to Barnes. Barnes in the paint. She'll take a shot. It is good. And about 3 or 4 IUP defenders had their hand on that ball as it was leaving Barnes' hands. But it still went in the net there. 77-41. 8:16 left on the clock. IUP in the lead here. There's going to be a foul called down on Edinboro's side of the court. 77-41. The score sits. 8:14 left on the clock. It is going to be... I believe there was a foul call, but they did not announce what it was. As I am talking, I see a giant Michelle Yan head, a cardboard cutout of Michelle Yan's head in the crowd here. To remind us that it is senior night tonight, before the game, they recognize the 4 Edinboro seniors, Michelle Yan, Jonte Walton, Sierra Roston, and Allison Thompson, who have all seen playtime on the court tonight, have all put up points, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Walton with 4, Roston with 9, Jan with 2 and Thompson with 2. 77-41 your score sits. 8:14 left on the clock. We're going to go ahead and take a 30-second timeout right here on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio.
The Edinboro Sports Network is your source for live coverage of Fighting Scots athletics. Enjoy all of the action on 88.9 WFSE and EdinboroNow.com, with many home games also featured on ETV. Support for this game broadcast is provided in part by John's Wildwood Pizzeria, open daily at 105 Erie Street in Edinboro for eat-in, delivery, or take-out. John's menu includes pizza, hoagies, wings, salads, and more. Information is at 814-734-7355 or on the web at johnswildwoodpizza.com.
8:01 remains on the clock here in the fourth quarter of this women's basketball matchup against IUP here at Macomb Fieldhouse. 77-41 is your score. My name is Maddie G. I'm your play-by-play commentator, joined by Tommy, who is still here, I promise. Yes. After a foul on Carolyn Appleby, it's going to be her third. Barnes is at the line here shooting 1. And it is good. I believe it might have been a... Excuse me, Barnes at the line once again. I get very distracted sometimes in games, and I'm like, oh, she made a shot. And they're like, wait, I'm supposed to tell them that she made it.
Yes.
Barnes made the second shot as well, 77-43. 7:54 left on the clock for this game. Robinson to Appleby. IUP making long passes here as they make their way down to Edinboro side of the court. Appleby just holding the ball here. Michelle Yan keeps poking at it. And they are going to call Appleby with a foul here. I believe it may not be a foul as they are discussing between the refs. The players and the refs are. But the ref is holding the ball. Appleby talking to him. They're going to call it Edinboro's ball. There is no foul added to Appleby's foul total here. So Abby Antolik with the throw in to Barnes. Barnes to Brown on the left. Brown makes it to Barnes on the right. Inside the arc. She kicks it out to Brown, who's unguarded. She'll take a 3. It's going to bounce in between the rim and the backboard. She picks it up from off the ground as it's rolling out of bounds. Gets it to Yan to Barnes. Fresh 30 seconds on the shot clock for Edinboro. Barnes with an attempted jumper there, but Robinson will put a hand in her face. Rebounds the ball back to Barnes. Brown with an attempted shot, no good. 77-43. The score sits IUP in the lead. 7:04 left on the clock for this game. Wallisick with the ball. Hands off to Appleby at the top of the arc. Appleby over to Hunter. Hunter to Griggs. Appleby inside the arc. Attempts to hand it to Griggs. Antolik will get in Griggs' way. Grab the ball, hand it off to Barnes. Barnes to Roston. Roston at the top of the arc on IUP side of the court now. In the paint. Taking large pivots. Handing it off to Abby Antolik. Antolik takes a 3-point shot. It's going to roll in the rim and then pop back out. 77-43. The score remains. 6:28 left on the clock for the game. Wallisick with the ball. Hands it off to Appleby. Appleby at the half court, crossing half court here. Hands it off to Griggs. Griggs to Wallisick. On the left. She drives into the paint. Hands it off to Griggs, who has made it over to the right side of the court here. Brown will grab a rebound here. Take it down across half court. She's going to get tripped up across half court here, 77-43. It's going to be a foul on Appleby this time, and it will be Appleby's fourth foul here with 6:06 left on the clock. 77-43, 6:06 left on the clock for this game. Edinboro's ball here. Barnes takes it to the top of the arc, hands it off to Brown. Brown on the left. Over to Allison Thompson at the top of the arc. Thompson to Antolik on the right. Antolik to Yan at the top of the arc. She's going to move a little right, take a 3-point shot, and it is good. IUP with the ball here underneath their own net. Take it down to Edinboro side of the court. Alexander with the ball in hand. To the top of the arc. She hands it over to Wallisick. Wallisick on the left. Inside to Griggs, who's right underneath the net, not really guarded. She turns around and takes a shot, 79-46. The score now sits. 5:26 left on the clock for this game. Barnes with the ball at the top of the arc. Hands it over to Thompson. Thompson on the right. To Brown at the top of the arc. Attempted to Jan on the left, but Walazik will grab the ball, drive it all the way down to Edinboro's side of the court, take a shot, and it is good. 81-46. 5:09 left on the clock. Brown takes the ball across half court for the Fighting Scots. At the top of the arc. She hands it over to Barnes. Barnes on the left. To Thompson at the top of the arc. Over to Brown on the right. 14 seconds left on the shot clock for the Fighting Scots. Jan with the ball in hand. Fakes a three-pointer. Hands it to Barnes. Barnes will take a jumper. It will roll off the top of the net. Robinson will grab the rebound. Gets it to Appleby. Appleby to Walczyk on Edinboro's side of the court. On the left side, she hands it inside to Griggs, and there's going to be a whistle. It's going to be a foul on Abby Antolik. It's going to be her third of the night. 81-46. The score sits 4:38 left on the clock for this game. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout here. It's going to be a 1-minute timeout right here on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio.
The it won't.
81-46, the score sits as they're playing a good song right as we're coming back from halftime or timeout here. 4:38 left on the clock for this game. Alexander with ball in hand hands it to Appleby from outside of bounds. Appleby to number 20, Preston Hunter drives up for the shot. It's going to be no good, but there is a whistle as Edinboro came back from this timeout. They traded in some players here. That foul is going to be on Sarah Fisher, who came into this game. Out on the court for the Fighting Scots, you've got Allison Thompson, Michelle Young, Michaela Barnes, Sarah Fisher, and Macy Tarrant. First shot's going to be no good. 81-46, the score sits. 4:30 left on the clock for this game. Hunter at the line again. Second shot is no good as it bounces around the rim a couple times. Fisher with the ball now takes it across half court for the Fighting Scots. Hands it off to Thompson. Thompson on the left. Hands it to Barnes at the top of the arc. Barnes drives into the arc. Almost loses the ball. Hands it off to Sarah Fisher. Fisher takes a three. It is no good, but Allison Thompson will grab the rebound. She fights a little bit for the ball here. They're going to call a whistle. They're going to call possession and IUP. 81-46, the score sits. It's going to be Lovelace with the throw-in, who's now in for IUP. She hands it off to Alexander. Alexander to Cardona, who's now in the game. Over to Fink, Fink, who's in the game now. An attempted shot, no good. 81-46, the score sits. 3:46 left on the clock for this game. It's going to be Edinboro's ball over by the home stands across from their bench. Lillian Young with the throw in here. Some substitutions as Michaela Barnes takes a seat. Monica Brown will enter the game as well as Lillian Young. Young with the throw into Fisher. Fisher to Thompson on the right. Thompson to Young at the top of the arc. Young back to Thompson on the right. Over to Thompson. Thompson inside to Tarrant. Tarrant attempts to bring the ball up, but IUP will get a hand on it. Fink takes it across the half court for the Crimson Hawks. Drives all the way down on the Edinboro side of the court into the paint. Attempts to hand it off to teammate Cardona. It's going to be an attempted shot, no good. And then there's going to be a foul called here. It's going to be a foul on Cardona. 81-46, the score sits. 3:13 left on the clock. Thompson at the top of the arc. Inside the arc, hands it off to Fisher on the right. Fisher passes the ball inside. Nobody's standing there, but there is a whistle. There's going to be a foul on IUP. It's going to be on Cardona. Going to be her second. Thompson's at the line here as Edinboro's in the bonus. Thompson's first shot is good. 81-47. The score now sits 3:05 left on the clock. Thompson again here at the line. Second one is good. 81-48 as Thompson makes both those shots here on senior night. 3:03 left on the clock. IUP with the ball. Holland takes a jumper from the arc, and it's going to be good. A 3-point. 84-48. The score sits 2:50 left on the clock for this game. Sarah Fisher drives into the paint, takes a shot. It's going to be good. 84-50 now. 2:40 left on the clock. IUP with the ball. Holland inside to Cardona. Cardona takes a shot, and it is good. Waiting for Macy Tarrant to jump in front of her first, and then as Tarrant lands, she takes the shot. 86-50. The score now sits 2:26 left on the clock. Tarrant with a 3 down on IUP side of the court. No good. Fink will grab the rebound. Drive all the way down to Edinboro side of the court. She's going to get called with the double dribble before she puts up the 2 points. 86-50. The score sits. Fisher with the ball. She'll take it across half court for the Fighting Scots. She hands it over to Tarrant on the left. Tarrant takes a 3, and it is good. 86-53. The score now sits. 2:01 left on the clock for this game. Holland takes the ball across half court into the arc. Hands it off to Lovelace. Lovelace on the left drives into the paint, takes a shot, and it is no good. Thompson will grab the rebound. Hand it off to Fisher. Fisher on the left. Drives into the arc. Hands it off to Young. Young to Brown. Brown at the top of the arc here. Drives into the paint. Is going to get tripped up here underneath the basket. 86-53. The score sits. 1:34 left on the clock. For this game, we're going to go ahead and take a 30-second timeout right here on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio.
The Edinboro Sports Network provides live coverage of Fighting Scots sports on the campus radio station 88.9 WFSC, streaming live at EdinboroNow.com and available on mobile devices via TuneIn Radio and Nobex Radio. This game broadcast is supported in part by Edinboro Hotel Bar at 100 Meadville Street in downtown Edinboro, offering a variety of lunch and dinner items every day, plus catering services and a large room for private parties. Information is at 814-734-5103 or online at EdinboroHotelBar.com.
Welcome back. 86-54. Monica Brown getting up from hitting the deck here at the line here. First shot is good. Second one is no good. Allison Thompson will grab the rebound, take the shot. It is no good, but there is a whistle and a foul called. 86-54. Foul's going to be on number 22, Hunter. Thompson at the line here as Edinboro's in the bonus. First one is good. 86-55. 1:33 left on the clock. Thompson again here at the line. Second one, and it is good. Thompson on fire at the line tonight here at senior night. 86-56, 1:30 left on the clock for this game. Holland to Fink. Fink to Lovelace. Lovelace over to, Cardona. An attempted pass is going to go way out of bounds here, and it will be Edinboro's ball over by the home side of the court, across the way from the media table. It's the best way I can explain that. Fisher with the ball at the top of the arc, hands it inside to Thompson. Thompson attempts to jump up with the ball. IUP will grab it. Cardona races all the way down to Edinboro side of the court, takes a shot. It's going to be no good. Sarah Fisher grabs the rebound, runs down to IUP side of the court, keeps it, hands it over to Brown. Brown to Young on the left. Young drives into the paint, takes a shot. It's going to bounce off the rim. 86-56, 53 seconds left on the clock. Holland with the ball. She'll take it across half court. Into the arc here. She'll take a 3. It's no good. Allison Thompson grabbing the rebound there. Hands it off to Fisher on the right. 40 seconds left on the clock. She takes it across half court. Fisher, that is. She hands it to Brown. Brown on the left. Drives into the arc. Hands it off to Young, who's unguarded on the left. She takes a three, and it is good. 86-59. The score now sits 32 seconds left on the clock. Still a lot of basketball to be played here. Holland with the ball on Edinboro side of the court. Hands it off to Cardona. Cardona on the right to Fink at the top of the arc. 16 seconds left on the shot clock for IUP. Fink drives into the paint, hands it off to Lovelace on the left. She goes up for the shot, and it is no good, but there is a whistle. 11.5 seconds left on the clock. And there's going to be a foul on Allison Thompson. Lovelace is going to be at the line here. (87-59), 88-59. As Lovelace makes both shots. 9 seconds left on the clock. Monica Brown with ball in hand. 7 seconds left. Hands it off to Young. Young goes up for the shot. 5 seconds left on the clock. 88-59. Young at the line here. As there's a foul on Cardona. Young is at the line here shooting 2. Young's first shot is good. 88-60. The score sits 5 seconds left on the clock. Young's second shot is no good. Rebound from IUP. Holland will take it all the way up to Edinboro's right side of the court to end the game. 88-60. The score finishes out with IUP with that win. They move to 23-2 overall and 18-2 in the PSAC. Edinboro will move to 19-7 overall and 14-6 in the PSAC West. Again, Edinboro and IUP both have already secured their spot in the playoffs. IUP is sitting number 1 right now, or as of before this game. Edinboro making their way to the middle of the court for their arms up handshake for the end of the game on this senior night. Again, if you're just tuning in, recognition of the seniors, Jan, Roston, Walton, and Thompson at the beginning of the game. We're going to go ahead and take a 20-minute break here before the start of the men's game. We're going to go ahead and kick it back to Chase on the board. He'll be playing all of his favorite WFSC music. So stay tuned right here on 88.9 WFSC Fighting Scots Radio.